Have you ever wondered what the divines want to tell you? Welcome back. My name is Stephen, and today I'm going to be giving you a reading specifically from the divine. Whatever that divine means depends on you. The one that I am particularly choosing today is going to be gods. So anything from old ancient times style stuff. Now we have 3 decks today. And the 3 decks we have are a labradorite deck, a selenite deck, and a rose quartz deck. This is marked by 1, 2, and 3. You may pick and choose whichever one calls out to you the most. What I do normally before I go and pick one of these is I breathe in and out, slowly, mindfully, and just letting that intuitive self really connect into which one to choose. Of course, you don't have to, but if you want to, it's a good thing. Specifically today, we're going to be talking about what exactly is going on in the higher realms and how is that going to interact with you, depending on which card you pick. We're going to move on to group number 1. Okay, group number 1, you picked labradorite. I got this labradorite actually at an event that I went to not too long ago. I really like how it looks. It's a very pretty blue, green, yellow color. And this one's a bit faded because I think it just has a lot of wear and tear. But I still love the gem. I think it's a very beautiful gem. It's one of my favorite gems, actually. What I'm sensing from this before we even get into the reading is a lot of flowiness. So a lot of movement, a lot of complex. So that might be a big thing in this reading. We're going to be pulling 3 of the Ascendant cards. The Ascendant is a really good tarot deck, in my opinion. I actually really like it. I'm thinking about doing a review for it. So if you like it, let me know. The 3 cards you got were 5 of Swords, Strength, and a 9 of Swords. 5 of Swords is normally tied to a very intense conflict of the mind, of the heart, of the soul. There's a lot of difficulty with how you're thinking and how you're feeling. It's a lot of your mind overwhelming you. Again, lots of conflict. You feel like you're suffocating because of all of these things that are going on. So because of that, we then move into Strength, being the second card. And Strength is, well, as it said, Strength. It's what you put your determination into. Resilience, being able to truly manifest a reality that you want to manifest. Now, where that applies to this specific reading is there's a lot of, I'm sensing, deities that are tied to conflict, that have been observing the things going on in your life, and they're willing to actually work with you through them. And they understand that you may have to go through a lot of things. I would give an example of a deity like Ganesha, who can put obstacles in your way, but he can also remove obstacles from you. I'm also getting a big sense of Shiva also. So a lot of intense, transformative balance energy. The thing that's really interesting is you also have a 9 of Swords. And I'm seeing this as your, to follow this as if it were a theme, is past, present, and future. And in the past, you were dealing with a lot of conflict, a lot of hardship, a lot of pain. And because of that, you've now gained a lot of strength. And these deities are specifically allowing you to use that strength so that when you have this 9 of Swords, so what I'm getting from this is that you're about to enter into a time in your life that's going to be really depressing and anxious and very intense. And, some people don't want to hear that because they're like, oh no, this reading's really bad, and they start panicking. That's not the point. The point is that you have all this strength and you should be applying it forward and actually taking that and bringing it somewhere else. Now, specifically for this reading, I'm letting you know that all of the darker cards are shadowy stuff. And then we will slowly migrate into neutral and lighter stuff. This is kind of the palette of my channel, is darkness into light. So, and vice versa, light into darkness, because they are, it's an ebb and a flow, yin and yang, balance the duality of light and dark. And those are big things that have meant a lot to me throughout my life, and they've helped me learn a lot about myself and other people. So I'm going to say, keep an eye out for specifically darker deities who aren't evil. So for example, like I mentioned, Shiva, who is the great destroyer, but he is also very creative too, and he's very loving and kind, but also is extremely powerful and can just boom, everyone's dead. That's like what his sphere of is that the end of the universe kind of stuff. So I'm getting a big sense of, specifically, I've been really depressed, and that's okay. It's okay to feel depressed. Sometimes you have to move through that, but try not to get stuck in a depression for too long, otherwise you won't be able to improve. You won't be able to feel better. Oh, interesting. So we've got Gemini, Aries, and a lunar eclipse. Now these are neutral things. So I want this to be clear that the deities doing this are no longer affiliated with the darker tones of things and with conflict or disagreement. This is more tied to actually a really positive message. A positive message for this, despite it being, again, from neutral deities, is learn to communicate. Because you seem to have this really strong, intense energy, and you need to take all those things you learned throughout your life about communication and about who you are and what you want, and you need to apply that. You need to apply that to major event coming forward. Whatever this depressing, and again, this could be tied to what a lot of people have been talking about soon, there's going to be a big major shift in society. And if that shift happens, it might be important for you to take this time to align your emotions and your ego and reach a point of growth and change and become stronger because of it. So I'm seeing the beginnings. You have an Ace of Swords, Queen of Chalices, and the Star. This is less neutral, more really good stuff, and this is specifically to look out for deities or messages that are tied to hope. So gods of hope, goddesses of hope. It is important to look for these things. If I was going to give you any recommendations of deities, when I think of hope, I think of Uranus. I would even go to the extent of saying Venus too. And a lot of higher light things, lots of love, lots of these things are things you should probably go aim for. If you already believe in a god of light or a god of love, or even I would even go to the extent of saying, like, if you believe in patron saints, that works too, because they all tie into this love element. And when you take that, you can apply that to things in the future. So despite all these scary, dark things coming up in the future, it is okay to have hope, because having that hope is going to be the drive that brings you what you want. And although you feel like you just got started on this intense intellectual journey in your life, it's going to be okay. Take it into who you are now. I have Queen of Chalices. So I'm taking this as, look for literally Venusian energy, very Luna energy, very like literally the moon. And you take that and you make an empire out of it. You are the emotional bond. And it's okay to feel the feelings that you're feeling and using them to facilitate hope. Even when you're depressed, it's okay to take that pain, turn it into something beautiful, and then give it to somebody else and actually make their day better. And by making their day better, you may not notice it right now, but down the line, you're going to start feeling better too. And you're going to start creating this chain reaction that makes life better for everyone. The deities I keep on getting. So I'm going to channel, since that is one of my gifts, I can channel deities. I'm going to send you one brief message. Your light is not a weakness. Despite you feeling that you are low and afraid, you are light. And never forget it, because your movements are movements that are required. You bring forth everything. Whether you are a man or a woman, you are the light. So take that light and heal people. Know that your darkest moments of sadness, depression, and anxiety are temporary. You are the light, and you will heal by being loving, kind, and compassionate. If you enjoyed your reading, thank you. Love it. By all means, like, comment, subscribe, share. do whatever makes you feel most comfortable. I really like hearing comments, mainly because I want to see how people handle this. As for the content that I'm putting out, thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I love you. Moving on to group number 2. Hello, group number 2. Welcome. So you chose selenite. I got this selenite, ironically, at the same place I got my labradorite, which was at a event it was in Orlando, and they had a ton of crystals. This beautiful, almost sort of like an auction thing that was going on. We had some spiritual people. We had some scientific, architectural, they were building things kind of stuff going on. And they also had actual archaeology where they were excavating things and bringing them forward to be sold. And there are people from all over the country. It's really cool. Now, if you pick this though, I'm getting a sense of purification energy. So the energy of healing your insides, not your outsides. So sit down and really go in and be like, what do I need to heal? That is the message I'm getting purely just off of you picking this stone. However, first 3 cards, by the way, as previously mentioned, are shadows. And the shadows are tied to something a bit different from what I usually do. Now, I do enjoy balance in my decks. And the shadow of this one is the Ruler of Swords, the Pillar, and the Anchor. What I gather from this is that the Ruler of Swords is more tying you down to your way of thinking. You are very ambitious, very dedicated, very intelligent. You know that there is much luck to what you do. You just are what you are. You are very mentally focused, very ambitious, as I said previously, and very, very effective at being a leader. And that's really useful considering that you have the Pillar and the Anchor, which are represented by the Empress and the Emperor. So since you have both of these things, I'm getting this message of you have already moved in. I'm assuming you're a very feminine person, just by being very analytical. And you have moved into this energy of being what's the word for it? Being very in tune with your emotions, as well as your mind being a concrete ground for those emotions. And you having the ability now to evolve forward into the Anchor, which is more masculine. Now, how this ties to any deities is you should be looking towards deities of leadership. So pay attention to deities like Jupiter or Zeus, Odin, Ra, or Horus. I would also go to the extent of saying deities from other pantheons such as Vishnu and Shiva. Shiva previously came up, but for very different reasons. These are a lot of these, even Brahma too. These are very leadership-oriented deities. So find these different deities in different religions. If you have your own religion, maybe look into, or spirituality, look into the deities in that religion tied to leadership, because they may be calling out to you and specifically giving you information and gifts. Now, where this comes to being a darker thing is that you may be blocking your masculine energy. So you want to be a leader, but you want to be a feminine leader. Whereas maybe right now it is time for you to be called forward to becoming a masculine leader. And maybe you should learn to heal the masculine elements of your personality and really come to terms with them, because maybe you've already come to terms with the feminine, but you are still a bit holding off on that. So to apply to the selenite, maybe you should purify your masculine energy to become more in tune with the leadership you want to see in the world. Now, our next 3 cards are more neutral cards. We have Terra, Last Quarter, and Full Moon. Now, how this will apply to you is, again, the relationship between the Earth and the Moon, specifically when moving through different cycles, specifically end of cycles, as with one of my previous decks, that this had a similar situation. Now, how it specifically pertains to you is that you have recently come to terms, I'm assuming that you are more in touch with Gaia, and you are more in touch with the Earth energy, as opposed to, let's say, the energy of anything from farther beyond. So, whereas if you do look for the deities of leadership, look at their relationship with the Earth and with their relationship with the Earth deities tied to them, and see, intuitively if there is a connection, because that might be the grounds that connects the masculine and feminine energy you may be looking for. Now, to apply that to what's happening right now is you are at the midway point in your life of, not like literally, you're not like 50. I'm saying that you're at the midway point in this current cycle in your life, where you are about to reach completion, where you are in the long haul. You've shifted from short-term goals into long-term goals. And these long-term goals, where they're going to come to full fruition, you are going to have to actually come to terms with who you are. Who you are can obviously depend differently depending on who's listening, but I'm going to say that you are who you are. Like, you should be able to accept that part of yourself. Don't sit and let other people tell you who you are. You are who you are. So find that person within you and be like, that is who I am. Even if it's multiple people, it's okay to integrate all of them together and find something. Maybe some of them need to be separate, and that's okay too. Now, to move on to the final section, which is the positive. This is less neutral. And these are the deities with whom are trying to bring you active, positive change that you wouldn't be able to, that weren't lessons, so to speak. Your natural abundance, if you will. So we have the Nine of Wands, strength. You are strong in who you are, and that is okay. So do not hold back. Go after things you want to go after. And you probably already have. I would go to the extent of saying that you've already begun this journey of aiming for a goal and desiring it, which again could tie into this leadership. Maybe you really want to be a leader, and you have already had all your feelings collect that. So you're like, I feel like I want to be a leader, and you're almost there. You're almost at the point where you can really go and strive for this. The deities I'm sensing that are on your side, again, leadership deities, and the deities that rule the sun, as I mentioned earlier, Ra, or, Horus, and again, Jupiter, and Zeus, these kinds of energies. And you're going to be moving forward into a state of pursuit of the material mental world, and that might be the major difference for you. You're evolving, and you're basically becoming what you've always wanted to be, and you're also retaining a youth to it. So this will be the beginning for you. Despite you will become a leader, and now you will have all of the energy that comes from being a leader. That's really going to help you with motivating yourself to become better and stronger and more effective as a leader. The last thing that I'm going to put in, I'll have a channeled message from any deities that want to send you a direct message. Guidance. You require guidance. Right now you are a follower, and that is fine. Sometimes one needs to follow to learn to lead. Look to the people in your life who are leaders. And when you look to them, see how they exemplify us, the deities with which you are looking for. Find them, learn from them, love them, and through that you will achieve what you're looking for. You are allowed to be whatever you want to be, because you are who you are, and you are a leader. Okay, now that you have gotten your message and your reading, thank you. I appreciate you. You are amazing. Thank you for the abundance you bring into my life and into the lives of those around you. I'm happy to say that you will be a great leader. Now, we're going to move on to group number 3. Leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Hello, group number 3. So you picked rose quartz, my favorite gem. So, rose quartz is the gemstone of love, light, and all that. And it fits into that bubble of healing the self through the heart, and in healing the self to other people. There's a lot of this very warm sacral chakra energy, warm heart chakra energy, and very enlightened crown chakra energy in this gem. So I would say that you already have reached the point of loving the people around you, and it is a focal point of your life. And how that's going to reflect into your reading will be seen. And also, just to throw it out there, deities you should be looking for right now are love deities, specifically deities of universal love and self-love. So I give the example like Aphrodite or Eros, or even like gentler, darker deities like Thanatos, who is the god of death, but he is not the god of terrifying, intense death, but death as a slow, peaceful, beautiful process. So for your 3 cards that are coming up first, you have 2 of Wands, Seeker of Swords, and the Chariot in reverse. How this applies to you specifically is this is your darker element. So the 2 of Wands, you are right now fresh off the heels of getting something that you are really happy about, that is helping you build this career you really want to go for. And right now you are the Seeker of Swords. So you are currently entering into this, I am intelligent and I'm going to achieve what I want to achieve no matter what. Now, the deities that I think you should keep an eye out for when it comes to your shadow and to help with it is deities tied to like really Hermes. These things that aren't necessarily love or romantic, but they are more speed and dedication and focus. I would even go to say Saturn would be really good, specifically since you have a Chariot in reverse, which means that you are not going after what you want to go for. So maybe you should go talk to Saturn or Kronos or whichever deity you believe in and really be like, why am I not pursuing this thing the way I want to be? Because maybe you're pursuing it now, but you're rigidly pursuing it in an almost aggressive way, and you're not aligning with your heart chakra. And when you start to align with your heart chakra, this reverse flips upright, and you be the object of passion and dedication to actually achieving the goal with which you are looking for. Reach out. What do you think Saturn could do to help you? Right now we're in Saturn Aquarius, so this is a perfect time for you to be alone with Saturn and be like, what do you want me to do? Who can I become? What can I learn from myself that actually can help me? And how can you guide me? That is like the perfect thing you can ask them. Now your second 3 cards are going to be neutral. And you have the first quarter, Pisces, Saturn. Now it's kind of ironic that I mentioned Saturn earlier because he really is the one who's going to be guiding you forward. Now these are more neutral cards, so there's less shadow or light work going on. Instead it's just neutral work. It's work that just is what it is. I would give the example of like a day job where you go in, you get paid, you leave. It's that simple. You don't have to worry about anything else. Now, specifically what I'm noticing is that you're an intuitive because you have at the center of this reading Pisces. So you are in touch with these spiritual, watery energies. However, Pisces sometimes does not stand up for themselves, and Saturn might be training you to stand up. So one of the things is that you're not passionate. You may be passionately going after what you want, but you are not actually standing up for yourself to get what you want. You're just passionately going after what you want. Now the problem with that is that you could really be striving for success, but you'd have to put in the time and actually sit down, and if someone is like, no, you can't achieve that thing, you'd be like, really? And then you prove them wrong, and you say it. You say, you said I couldn't do this, and I did it. That proves that I am valid in this. And even if you don't even really need to prove yourself to be valid to them. Actually, I would go to the extent of saying that you already are valid, and you have already proved this. You just don't feel like you have, because you want to strive to be better. The thing is, you're already good. You're already better. You can only get better from here. So there's no need for you to put yourself on such a low pedestal. Now, how do we apply this into the last thing, which is only positive, by the way? We have 9 of discs, 7 of discs, 3 of swords. I'm sensing, personally, Saturn in Taurus. Interesting to me because Saturn in Taurus means that you are currently learning about the struggles of feeling like a failure, but you're not. Literally, you are like amazing. And if you keep on following down this road of like thinking you're not good enough, eventually you're going to reach a point where you're not good enough. Like you're going to sit here, and that's going to be all you think, and that's not good for you. So I want you to know that the blessings coming from higher up are that there are things in the works trying to help you. Like, there are things who are trying to, they've already given you gifts. You should now take those gifts, and instead of being like, I'm not good enough, use those gifts to prove how good enough to yourself. Be like, I'll give an example, right? I just got a bunch of money. I made $10,000, right? Something crazy. You made $10,000 in like a day. Now, you take that money, instead of being like, oh, but I didn't work hard enough to get it, sit down and go, you know what, I'm going to invest in this thing that I really am passionate about, and I'm going to build myself a pedestal that I can actively work with and actually achieve things with. Because if you don't actually take the blessings and the gifts and all these things that these deities have been putting forward to you, you're going to fall down this area of sorrow and pain. And again, Saturn, since you have 2 Saturn cards, you have 3 Saturn cards today. 3 of them. And the third one is Saturn in Libra. And you're going to feel you damaged all these relationships. And I think that might be the real fear that you have. You're afraid that you're damaging all these relationships by standing up for yourself. But you're not. You're just standing up for yourself. And if that relationship does not serve you, cut them out. Like, they're not worth it. It's okay. Like, they're not, like, and I know you don't feel that way because you love them and you care about them. And like, oh, but they are valid. You know, what they're saying is true, and I don't want to fight with them because I really like them. That's fine. You can love them and care about them and like them. But also, if they don't actively make you happier by being around them, or at least make you feel comfortable while you're around them, you don't need them in your life. Because if you think about them and negativity is what comes up, like, either you need to address that and communicate that this is what's been frustrating you, or you need to move on. And I know that's a very like pushy, like me being like, this is what you gotta do. But at the end of the day, you do have the choice. If you want to fall into like sorrow and sadness, go for it. If that's what you want to do. But recognize, if you do that, that's a choice that you chose to make. You could instead be investing in building a better future by communicating, by putting all these blessings and gifts that you've gotten into actually building a better life for yourself. I'm going to give you one last thing, which is a message from the divine as an active channeled message. Now, this message can be easy or difficult depending on who you are. So I am ready for whatever energy they bring forth. You are love. Now, repeat after me. I am love. Affirm it, because it is true. You need to love yourself. And by loving yourself, you can love other people more efficiently. Because with enough of your love, you can recognize that you are either being mistreated or not cared about. But you are valid in everything that you feel, everything that you love, everything that you think. Don't forget to focus on that love. Focus on that growth, on that change, on that power that you have inherently. Because you are love. It is okay to love yourself. Thank you, group number 3. I hope you enjoyed your reading. If you didn't, I know it was a bit intense. That last one seemed like a very dark place. And since you're probably pretty sensitive, I hope that you took this to heart in a way that could actually make you happy. If you want to comment how you feel, by all means, leave a comment below, or you can like the video, or dislike it if you don't agree with what I had sent to you. And if you want to stick around and maybe see more readings tied to this kind of stuff, you can subscribe. Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you would like to know more about the divine or the gods or so on and so forth, you can comment in the section below and let me know if you want more of this kind of content. You can like the video or you can subscribe. That depends on you, and I hope you all have a great